Welcome to special episode of Fan and Middles, where we have special guest Ming Chen.
I see you vibing back there. Okay.
Welcome.
What's up, guys? How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good, man. Thanks for coming on here.
Oh, absolutely, man. Anytime. Well, anytime I'm home. I'm never
Right.
home. So,
Let's say you're always on the
you
road.
guys
It
put
seems
me in a
like.
good spot right now.
Well, real quick before we jump into this, we're going to jump into our giveaway. We are giving away a Marvel Legends Red Skull autographed by Ross Marquand himself. To enter to win, just have to follow our YouTube channel. The more you comment on our videos, the better chance you have of winning. Once we reach 1,000 subscribers, we'll pick a winner and ship it straight to you. All right.
Awesome prize, man. Are guests eligible?
Oh yeah, anybody, man. Long as like you're not a permanent host of the podcast, you're eligible.
All right. I will hit the subscribe button today. That's awesome. Ross Marquand, one of my favorite people on the convention circuit, one of my favorite people in the world, one of my favorite people ever. We'll just put it that way.
Dude, he's so fun. Like I was at a con with him about a year ago, almost exactly. And you talking about just a chill guy. It's so fun to hang out with. Like afterwards, man. Like he's just a bro. That's the best way to put it. He's just a bro.
He's a bro, and yeah, just a good dude. And yeah, I love hanging out with that guy. It's fun. I go to a lot of cons, but the con itself is fun. But what it's really about is after the con. And then if you're going out, you want to hang out with cool people who are up for anything, and he's one of those guys, and love that guy to death.
Well, let's not cut yourself short, because we all know you're that guy too after the con.
I try. Listen, if you're gonna go to weird cities every weekend, and you got to go out, you got to explore, you got to get into adventures, you got to get into trouble, and then you got to get yourself out of that trouble. And that's what pretty much every weekend's about.
Yeah, and you got to share the love of my Lord. So
you do, if you're lucky enough to be able to get it or not get it.
Yeah,
yes,
I will never forget that. So, real quick, we'll give you an introduction since we kind of jumped right in. So, you may know Ming from Jay and Silent Bob, Clerks, but my personal favorite, AMC's Comic Book Man, which ran for 7 seasons. Man, I'll never forget flying out actually to the stash. Got a little piece of that carpet y'all sewed.
Yep.
Big Stan Lee fan. Got it right next to my autographed Stan Lee picture, actually. Man, that's a pretty great story. Is that in Red Banks, New Jersey, right?
Red Bank, New Jersey, yeah. And 2 blocks from where I'm sitting at right now. And we moved locations during the pandemic. Only moved it a block south, but the old location is the carpet, big carpet. They chopped it up into little squares and they sold them. Yeah. And on the thing that the cardboard is mounted on, I think it says Giant stood here or Legend stood here. I think it's Giants. And you mentioned you're a big Stan Lee fan. Stan Lee probably stood on that piece of carpet that you bought.
Well, that's actually what I bought it. I think somewhere on there it says Stan Lee stood on this piece right here.
Very not only very highly possible, but highly probable. Like I wouldn't give it 100%.
Yeah,
but I would give it a pretty good like 90, 96, 97%. So that's that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Other legends. Ben Affleck probably stood on there. Adam West. Ralph Macchio.
Oh shit!
Possibly I think Matt Damon was in there a couple of times. So you got like Oscar winners and like literal legends that probably stood on that piece of carpet. So whatever you
ask for Ben Affleck, was it before or after he did Daredevil?
It would have been both. He was in there quite a few times. So
okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty great. If you ever have a chance to go in there, check it out. Definitely check it out. It's
for sure.
It's worth the visit. Red Bank too, man. That's kind of I went around the whole town there. Was there for a few days. It's a pretty nice area. Like it's not bad.
It's not what you think of when you think in New Jersey. If you watch say the intro to The Sopranos. Yeah, it's not Jersey Shore. We're not getting drunk and hitting each other. It's more kind of a small town. Very nice. The
setting was way nicer than I expected. Not saying there's not nice areas in New Jersey, but like mentally when you're not from that area, you kind of think of things you see in movies, and you're like, oh, this is like super nice actually. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, and it was funny when Kevin came. Kevin started moving his offices and stores in there. It was pretty funny that all of a sudden there's a big placard of a clown in fishnets on the window. Or at the time the store opened in '97, the term Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash, which is an obvious drug reference, was very controversial. Nobody cares now. It sounds like a real. People probably stop in and is like, "You got any weed in here?" It's like, we don't have. We got comic books. We have weed in here, so
we got things you can read while you smoke your weed.
I mean that would be the goal, but so far the law is you got to take your joint outside and your comics.
Right.
If you want to do that, which small price to pay.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, let's jump into these questions we got for you.
Yeah.
Tay, you want to kick us off?
Absolutely. So I was reading a little bit about you. Sorry, I like to dive into our guests when we have them on.
Sounds good to me.
So I saw that in your free time you partake in like 2 different charities, and one of them that I kind of was like reading up on and really got into was the Street Poets Inc. So I was actually kind of wondering, what is your work that you do with them, and if you could explain
a while back I had hooked up with them through an old job I had when I was living in LA, and they were like, "Wait, you build websites?" I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Hey, can you redesign our website?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got to check out what you guys are all about." So there's a pretty cool nonprofit down in the LA area that their goal is to curb gang violence through poetry. Just instead of hitting the streets and selling drugs or just getting involved in gangs, they try to channel a lot of the members, I guess, anger or just feelings,
frustrations,
frustrations, into poetry, and it's worked out pretty well. And into an organization called the Street Poets Incorporated. So they're going strong, releasing albums. I think they just released they've got podcasts, so they got albums on Spotify, so you can definitely check those out. Very cool. I was very honored and jumped at the chance to help out with them for sure.
I like the name of them. Like, I don't know why, but the name just it jives. It works.
For sure.
Let's see. So next on the list I have is, so like, being a celebrity yourself, like you live the ultimate con life. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like that's a heck of. I've never seen somebody, I don't think, appear at so many cons that I have that I follow at all on my socials.
Yeah, actually, the guy who rivals me, who might be just a hair above me, is Ross Marquand.
Yeah, he does go to a lot. And like, I love how both of y'all interact and you dive in so hard, with the fans and everything. But out of all the cons you've been, out of all the films and other celebrities, you filmed with, what is the most memorable celebrity you've met? And like, can you tell us about that time along with who it is?
I mean, the most memorable celebrity, and we'll put him in the running, but then we'll take him out, is definitely Stan Lee. Stan Lee is a legend. Stan Lee is up there with Walt Disney or Mark Twain or any Frank Sinatra. Any huge legend that exists out in the world. And he came in twice, so we were very honored to have him in twice. And and Stan was like a god, like walking through the door. And if you watch the episode he comes in on, it's season 2, episode 8. It's called Stan the Man. Available on Pluto TV or YouTube. You can watch it for free on YouTube now. They put them all on YouTube. If you watch the episode, I'm the guy who gets to greet him first. I'm the guy who welcomes him at the door. And you can see in the shot, he comes in, he's backlit by the sun. So he does look very very godlike,
right,
in the store. And you can see the look on my face. I'm like, holy crap, it's like he's here. It's actually Stan Lee is in the store. And then I my job was to bring him back to the counter and introduce him to the other guys. So that was pretty legendary. And then the second time he came in, we needed him to convince a longtime customer not to quit reading comics. So, and then if you got Stan Lee telling you just not quit comics,
you better read all of the comics.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. And then after all that, anytime I saw him at a con, his people were like, "Hey Ming, you want to say hi to Stan?" I'm like, "Yeah, actually, I would." They bring me back and they're like, "Hey Stan, remember Ming? You were on that Comic Book Men show," and he'd always be like, "Hey Ming, how the hell are you? Excelsior." So that was pretty cool. So if we take him out of the running, it's then it gets tougher.
Right.
I can name a number of names. Adam West, definitely the Batman 66. Ralph Macchio, huge Karate Kid fan.
Yes.
Yeah, Billy D. Williams, who I still maintain is
heck
is
yes.
the coolest guy in the galaxy. Some would try to say Han Solo. I was like, come on, Han Solo. Han Solo learned cool from Lando Calrissian.
Nobody's as smooth and charismatic as Billy D. Williams. I mean, let's be
and
real.
Harrison Ford never did malt liquor commercials, right? So
Right, that's right.
No, he was too busy making Indiana Jones, right?
Yeah. But and for anybody as old as I am, Lindsay Wagner, the Bionic Woman, came in. Like that was pretty huge for.
Yep. I grew up watching those, like $6 Million Man, Bionic Woman.
Yeah.
All that,
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So a lot of legends I saw in movies and TV that I never thought I would ever meet, much less welcome them on a TV show that I'm on.
Right.
Like that's just such a like out there thought that the fact that happened and then got documented on a TV show is pretty cool.
Heck yeah, that's great.
That's
Stan,
amazing.
I can't imagine meeting Stanley. Like that was one of my goals, and then God, it was so unfortunate and sad finding out when he passed away.
Yeah.
And so like shortly after is when that's when I went ahead and went forward to get that autograph of his, and it's done up in a nice frame, and it's a comic book from 1980 that he signed, and he signed Excelsior with his name in 1980. So I was like, well, that's about as close as I want to get to it. But
yeah, that's cool. And if you didn't get to meet him, certainly you can go and get his autograph. He signed a lot of stuff, so
yes, he did.
You'll be able to get one at a fairly reasonable price.
Yeah,
that's amazing. So to go off of the con question kind of that Blake had asked just now, I wanted to know what your favorite con is and which one made you feel like the most welcome. Like you walked in there and you were like, I'm at home.
Yeah, also a tough question because they all do. I mean,
yeah.
So when I was a kid, the conventions weren't like they are now in like huge convention centers. Right. They weren't like 3 or 4 day affairs, and if you were lucky, maybe like there'd be 100 or 200 people there now, not like 100,000 or 200,000 like there are now, like New York and San Diego. But it was cool. Back when I was going, we just wanted anything. We would have taken anything. And they were in church basements back then, the old Elks Lodge, like they smelled funny. And then maybe if you were lucky, maybe there would be like 4 comic book vendors. There'd be 4 guys in the area that collected comics and they had extra back issues that they wanted to sell. So they would bring them to this Comic-Con that they would throw. And then if you were really lucky, maybe there would be a guy who was a toy collector who had a bunch of duplicate toys. He would set them up on a table, and that would be the Comic-Con. Now, we got like, 10, 20, 30, hundreds of comic book vendors at a show, toys as far as the eye can see. And then people, makers, crafters who now make items. We have Artist Alley, so you can get you can meet artists from your favorite comic books or properties, or you'll meet independent artists that make really, really awesome art, 3D printed stuff. Like it's unimaginable what they have now compared to where I was going. But also now you have huge cons like San Diego and New York. Then you have smaller ones, ones that are just starting out, or ones that just want to do a 1-day small con at a rec center or a hotel ballroom. But all of them have that heart. They want to run an amazing pop culture based show based on what they like, and invite vendors and get as many people as they can in there. So they've all been very welcoming. But the smaller ones, though, those are more intimate. Those, you actually meet the people the owners, the promoters. Sometimes they'll hang out with you afterwards. So like the Cape, the one in Cape Girardeau, our good friend Ken and Shane and you guys, very, very welcoming, awesome show, not overwhelming. So maybe if you're like, oh, I haven't been to one in a while, I've never been to one like Cape and Cape Girardeau is perfect to go to. Or if you're a seasoned convention goer, that's one to go to where you can actually talk to the vendors and artists. You can spend a lot of time there, and then we have a lot of fun afterwards as well. Yeah, for sure. So that one's definitely amazing. There's one in Houston called Comic Palooza that's been just an amazing show. they've had me back 10 years in a row, which is you know, if you look at most conventions, they tend not to invite guests back multiple years in a row. You know, they want to switch it up. You know, they want to change their guest list. Yeah. But occasionally, if they like you a lot, they'll invite you back year after year, and that's one that's always welcomed me back.
It's called Comic Palooza.
Comic Palooza, yeah.
Right. So fun fact: next year, I'm relocating to Houston.
Oh, really? So you've got to go. Oh man, you're gonna have such a great time.
So I was told like Texas is like the nerd capital, like the biggest state with the most Comic Cons and stuff. And I didn't realize that even before I made that decision. I was like, okay, I know I belong here.
Which is great. Houston's kind of like my second town. I have a cousin who lives there. I'm there a lot. So, you know, not only is there an amazing Comic Con there called Comic Palooza, I'm partners in a Geek Thing coffee shop there. Which will be your second home once you move there.
Heck yes.
I'm definitely giving you the warm welcome right now to that. That'll be amazing.
I'm a big coffee guy too, so
yeah. Oh, you're gonna love it. It's the best coffee in Houston in the best environment possible. There's a nerd bar there called Neil's Bar, which you're gonna love. There's food. Houston's such a great city. But there multiple comic book shops. And but I was all introduced to all of that because of Comic Palooza. So they've always given me a very, very warm welcome there. And I'll be back there for my 11th year this in 2025 for sure.
You're pretty favorable to Dragon Con too, aren't you?
Oh like man, Dragon Con is the ultimate nerd con. I don't know if you guys have been, but
so we went to go this year, and the way things worked out last minute, we weren't able to. But it's on the agenda for our first time to visit next year.
Oh, I will give you the grand tour, and I can almost guarantee once if you go there next year, you'll want to go back every year. It's that amazing. Different from any convention I've ever been to, and one I always like. It's a must go to every year.
Nice. Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah,
we were sad to miss it this year because it was definitely on there, but some work stuff came up and it kind of
This one, call in sick, whatever you need to do to get out.
Quit your job. It's okay.
I mean, I would almost go that far to be like, you know what, you can find another job. Dragon Con comes first in life for sure.
There are so many cons that I need to go to. I've only been to 2 of them. One was in Memphis that I can't even remember the name of it. But the other one that I most recently went to was Phoenix Fan Fusion because I was living in Phoenix, but now I'm in Las Vegas. So they have the Level Up Expo coming up.
Good one.
Yeah. So I'm like looking at like possibly going to that one. So excited.
Yeah, that's a good one. I haven't been. So Level Up, if you're listening, I'd love to go in 2025.
There you go.
I'm getting people to come buy tickets. So
I will go.
I would love to be there. Phoenix, I've been to the town once. I've not been to the conventions. Also, Phoenix Fan Fusion. If you're listening, if you want an amazing guest, give me a call.
Absolutely.
We'll send this link to them after this.
Yeah.
If you're like, listen, you need to watch this. It's for your best interest.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So I actually feel like my next question is probably just answered from my first, possibly. So if you take away the Stan Lee episode of Comic Book Man out of the 7 seasons that y'all ran, what would be your favorite episode that y'all shot?
If you take away the Stan Lee episode, I got a couple, but the one that comes to mind, there's an episode. I think it's also season 2. Me and Mike participate in a zombie run. And
my God.
Yeah, the premise of the zombie run is you enter and you wear a flag football belt, and it's got 3 flags on it, and they corral you into this cage. And when the race starts, they open the cage and they yell out, "Run for your lives!" And you run. It's a 5K course with a bunch of obstacles. But as you're running, there are zombies chasing after you. So
that sounds fun.
Yeah, and the goal is to make it to the end of the course without getting the 3 flags ripped off of you. So zombies are supposed to grab the flags off of you, but the 3 flags representing 3 lives, kind of like a video game.
Okay.
And it was pretty intense. So you had some of the zombies, and they're all dressed up and they're directed to grab the flags off you. Some of them are slower and shuffling, and they're method actors. They're acting like the slow shuffling zombies. The other ones are out for blood, man. They want that flag. And depending, if you make it to the end with 1 or more remaining, you get 1 medal. If you and then if they're all ripped off, if you die, they grabbed all the lives, you get a different medal. So, as a competitive runner, you want that medal where you had lives left.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so that episode is based on the premise. Mike's idea. I was a pretty big runner at the time, so I trained him Rocky 3 style, kind of like the Rocky Apollo Creed,
right?
the somewhat homoerotic scene where they're training each other. It was the 80s. It was a weird time.
It was a weird time.
Yeah, and we run this thing, and I got him through the race. He almost wanted to give up a couple times because it was not an easy course.
Yeah,
but we ended up surviving at the end, so we got the cool medal.
Nice.
And it makes for a hell of an episode.
Yeah, that was cool. We got out of the store for a little bit. The Walking Dead was huge at the time, so it was cool to see the zombies. I thought it was a really fun episode.
And that the zombies have to have like a little pool in the back of like, okay, whoever gets the most amount of flags, you get like this medal too. They have their like zombie medals.
Oh yeah, for sure, no doubt.
Yeah.
Funny enough, my memories of Comic Book Man is actually linked to The Walking Dead because growing up when I was younger, that was the next episode following right after on AMC. What you watch Walking Dead on, I think it's Sundays, and then you immediately watch Comic Book Man right after.
Yeah, thanks for keeping your TV on. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
the ratings for sure.
Oh man, yeah, that I actually remember that episode. So yeah, that's great. Stan Lee one's the one that always stands at the highest. But
man,
but there's so many great episodes.
That's kind of like you gotta take that one out of the running, right? So
right.
That was obviously the best one.
Yeah. So many that hits so many highlights in different aspects of life.
Oh yeah, for sure. But that zombie run one's a close second for sure.
Nice.
That's gotta be hilarious. So you have two little ones.
Yes.
You have Lillian and Henderson, if I'm
Harrison, yes.
Harrison, sorry. I'm so sorry.
No,
Harrison.
You're very close.
Sorry. Like I said, I like to review like who I'm interviewing. Are they at all into comics, or do they nerd out about something different?
They are, but they have their own fandom. So my Harrison's a gamer, and so he's Valorant, Roblox, big Fortnite, Overwatch, all the first person shooters, the network first person shooters. Is what he's into. He's a kid who's always yelling at his computer in his room.
sounds like my son.
Yeah, he stole all the gaming consoles, so I can't game anymore because they're all in his room. I can't get them back. But that's his nerddom. Yeah, I show him the movies, and I show him a lot of the old '80s cartoons that I watch. I try to get him on all the stuff that I was passionate about. Some of them they tolerated. A lot of them though, they're like, you watch this? Like, you like this?
What is this?
Like, I still like it. Like, what are you talking about? And they're like, oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna go back to gaming now. And I get it. I get it. In modern times, a lot of kids aren't into G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero.
Right.
And it does get frustrating. It's like, come on, this is cool. They're battling Cobra. Like they're cool characters, and I get it.
G.I. Joe about to make a comeback with Transformers.
Yeah, which is crazy. G.I. Joe's probably bigger now than it's ever been, actually. But my daughter's more into Broadway. She's a theater nerd, so
nice.
So she's excited for Wicked that's coming out.
Yes. Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh.
Yeah. I think my daughter would rather go to a Broadway show than say, than go see Avengers Endgame on the big screen for a 13th time. But
okay.
Yeah. If they Rogers the musical, she'd probably be into that though, at least. So sometimes you get your kids into what you're into, but you got to take a different path there.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Well, I'll never forget, like, my son, like I sat him down probably about a year ago. He's 16 now, but like sat him down. I was like, hey, he's like, I've never seen The Matrix, Dad. I've always seen so many different things. I was like, I'm about to sit you down. So we sat down for the first one. He made it through an hour into it. He's like, can I just go back up there and play Fortnite?
Oh, man.
He's like, I was like, no, dude. I was like, this is a huge staple. He's like, this is boring. He's like, this looks so fake. I'm like, no.
Yeah, it redefines sci-fi and just
it was
filmmaking.
A time in filmmaking.
But I guess what we fail to forget, it came out in 1999.
Right.
25 years old.
Yeah, the graphics are not what they are now.
Yeah, I was 10 when it came out, and that was the coolest movie ever.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But anyways, like he watches a lot of my stuff, and he enjoys it. But there's some stuff he's just like you said, Like, I'm good.
Yeah, and it's it's frustrating. It's like, no, you don't get it. This is awesome, but there's no consistent. Like, what can you do, right?
Right,
Like,
right. Especially when they grow up with like the great CGI nowadays.
Yeah,
It's hard for younger ones to appreciate, the artwork and the creativity, that went into those to make them look like they did back then, even though they per se look bad compared to now.
Yeah, every so often they're like, hey, tell me about these aliens. I'm like, oh, I'll tell you about the yeah. So every so often they'll surprise you, but it's you can't force fandom,
Yeah, that's
no,
something
you
that I
can't.
realized this past year. My stepson Adrian, he turns 10 in December. He was like, "Oh man, like let's watch Star Wars because I really like the new Star Wars movies." And I was like, "Oh, we got to start with number 4." And then you got to go from like when they came out like chronologically. And he like we turned on number 4 and he immediately like turns on his Switch and just starts playing. And I'm like, he was like so bored with it. I was like, oh god.
Yeah.
And that's the best trilogy.
Right? And I was just like, oh man, this is just so weird. Like, this is what I grew up on. And okay, well, I guess this is where we're at. Let's turn on number, what is it?
Killer.
7? So, yeah.
One day they'll learn.
One day they'll appreciate it. If not, they're lost. So out of all the comic runs you read, if you had to pick a top comic run that's your probably go-to favorite, what would that be?
That's a tough one too.
I figured it would be. If you want to give like a top 3, that's fine.
Yeah, superhero wise, Frank Miller's Batman Year One is definitely one of my favorites. I love everything thinks that Batman is a badass, but the guy had to start somewhere. So Year One Chronicles, kind of that first year when he's out there, he's getting beat up, he's getting punched in the face, he's failing. Kind of cool to see that part done in Frank Miller's dark style. But I gotta give a shout out. So I read comics as a kid, read them in high school, and then when I hit college, I kind of gave them up for a few years because I couldn't afford them, and I didn't have time for them anymore. But right near the end of college, I remember my roommate ran in to our place. He was like, "Hey, they just opened a new comic book shop down the street." And I was like, "Oh, really?" It's like, let's go check it out. And I remember I went in there, and it was really small, like 100 square feet. There's 2 funny looking dudes running it. And I'm like, "Hey man, what's up?" It's like, welcome to the neighborhood. Like, wow, what inspired you to open up a comic book shop? Like, oh man, they're really enthusiastic. And I was like, all right, I like these guys' energy. So I look around their store and I'm like, hey, I don't really see any superhero comic books here. Like I see no Marvel or DC. Like what do you have here? It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna carry those later, but we want to get the stuff that we really liked in first. And I never really, the stuff they had, I never really heard of it. And they're like, oh man, what we carry, like we guarantee you'll love. It's like, here, read these 2, and if you don't like them, you could return them, but we pretty much guarantee you like them. And they handed me a copy of Spawn and a copy of Preacher. I was like,
I love Preacher.
Okay, cool. And I went back and read them, and my mind was blown. I was like, holy crap. Like before, comics were kind of geared toward a younger audience, bright colors and superhero stories and good, bad, that was it. But, if you read Spawn and Preacher, they're dark. They're made for adults. Yeah. They deal with, a guy coming back from hell to exact vengeance, or, Preacher is even darker, way more messed up. And I was about 19, 20, and I was like, whoa, this is awesome. And I went back, I was like, all right, you guys got any more? Like, I need more. And I remember they handed me the first Preacher trade paperback. And if you look on the top, there's a big quote that says, reading Preacher is more fun than going to the movies, Kevin Smith. And so from then on, I was back into comics. I was way hooked back in. So yeah, that first Preacher trade paperback, that first run, that first 8-10 issues is mind-blowing. So that one's definitely one of my favorite runs as well.
Nice. So how do you, if you don't mind me asking, like, how do you like the live series Preacher compared to the comics?
It was right, and when AMC was making it, it was
I enjoyed it.
Comic book man. So I was asking the execs, like, oh man, I can't believe you're doing this. Like, how hard is it though? Because you're still basic cable. You can't show everything. It's like, oh, we worked our way around it, and they made a few changes. It was good. It was good. But what I really wanted to see was a full on like note for note adaptation, and it's tough.
It would probably need to be its own standalone rated R movie if they did.
Yeah, and I think it should be a series. You know, they right when it got huge, they're trying to make a movie, and actually Kevin Smith and his producer Scott Mosier were actually attached as executive producers. But back in 97 or the early 2000s, still a little too early to put that kind of content out and have it be able to market it. So I think it would work great on like a Netflix or a HBO Max.
Yeah.
And
hey, I mean, that's what maybe someone needs to do that.
I think someone should make another go at it and just make it like the comics.
Yeah.
Not that it's not that hard. It will be controversial, yes, but I think as the time goes on, things have we see way more screwed up stuff than that now.
Sure. And like you said, I mean, it's the perfect time on these streaming platforms to get away with that hardcore stuff. I mean, back then on TV you couldn't.
Yeah, and it's not hardcore for the sake of being hardcore. It's great storytelling. It belongs in the story. So
heck yeah.
No, that's wild. I hope that Max does it because Max already kind of does have that like gritty kind of from what I'm understanding that you guys are talking about.
Yeah, for sure.
So one of the things I did a deep dive on your Instagram.
Okay.
And
you gotta go pretty deep. There's a lot of stuff on there.
There is a lot of stuff on there. So I found this picture and I wanted to ask you, what is your favorite thing about Buc-ee's?
I love Buc-ee's. For anyone who doesn't know what a Buc-ee's is basically a gas station / rest area on steroids.
Yes.
Started out in Texas. It's been expanding to Tennessee, to Alabama, to Florida, and it's one of my favorite places in the world. To call it a rest stop or a gas station is not even doing it justice. It's literally, if you cross a Walmart and a gas station, a rest area, and a barbecue joint, and all these things into one.
I've yet to be to one yet. So.
Oh man, imagine you're on a road trip and you're like, oh, I need to stop. I'm hungry, or or I'm tired, or I'm bored, or I need gas. This would be the ultimate place to stop. So not only, if you get gas, there's like 100 pumps there. So you don't ever have to wait in line.
Nope.
If you go in, like I love like road trip food. I love candy. I love slushies. I love beef jerky. And, not only they have, not only they have beef jerky, there's a whole wall of beef jerky, as far as I can see.
Wow.
And then they have a whole deli counter of beef jerky too. So you have a guy working what do you want, a pound of lemon pepper, a pound of teriyaki? You can get that. Jeez. And then in the middle, there's just a guy cutting up brisket and pulled pork. So you get that sandwich. And then the candy's like off the charts. So good. And then, if you want a frozen Dr. Pepper, which I think you can only get at a Buc-ee's. I've only seen it there.
Yeah, I've never seen a frozen Dr. Pepper before.
And if you need to go to the bathroom, like these bathrooms are the cleanest bathrooms I've ever seen. Like they've won awards for how clean they are. There's actually people giving awards for this. And then the Buc-ee's merchandise, you never leave without a T-shirt, like a coffee cup, and they have these things called beaver nuggets. I
had some of those.
Yeah, they're like corn pops, but on they're like crack. They're so addictive. So yeah, probably the beaver nuggets are probably my favorite thing about Buc-ee's. Their sour cherry balls are amazing. The pulled pork sandwich is out of this world. I always leave with like a pound of beef jerky, and then I always like a T-shirt, a jacket, a beach towel. They have Buc-ee's shoes once. I got the shoes, and I'll buy stuff for my female friends as well. I was like, all right, let's clean out their swimwear section and buy every pair of leggings for them as well. So, and it's not super expensive. So, but I'll leave with like $50, $100 worth of stuff, and I'll feel good about it.
Yeah. It's all useful stuff too. Like I needed a pair of nail clippers, and it doubled as a bottle opener. I was like, "That's neat."
yeah. And then they have everything's branded with their little beaver mascot, which is awesome. Yeah. So they've knocked it out of the park. Recently on the interstate here in Jersey, a Buc-ee's billboard popped up going Buc-ee's 562 miles, and there's a U-turn symbol. So does that mean one is coming here? Let's hope so.
I hope for you. Yeah. I really do.
Yeah,
Nice.
but Houston, there are a couple outside of Houston, so you'll be fine when you get out there.
Nice. So it sounds like a rest stop turned into destination place.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I was in Florida and I drove to Alabama to go to one. I was in the panhandle of Florida. So, yeah.
Wow.
So good.
Worth it.
Totally worth it.
So out of all the places you travel to, and this may be a hard one too, so if you want to do like a top 2 or 3, it's fine.
Okay.
But like I'm a big foodie. Like I love to cook and I love to eat. And I also love, like when I travel, that's half of my excitement. Is actually, I refuse to hit chain places. But what is your favorite dish you had and where at?
That's a tough one too. It depends on what city I'm in.
Sure.
You're lucky. You're going to Houston, so definitely a culinary capital. It can be as simple as their Tex-Mex and barbecue is definitely bar none amazing there. But Houston's the 4th largest city in America, so you can get like Himalayan food. You can get really good Indian. You get anything there. And then new stuff is always popping up. And then they have really good food trucks there as well, for sure. Chicago is one of my favorite cities. So there's a pretty mind-blowing deep dish pizza, Chicago style pizza out there, which I've definitely waited hours for or had to make a reservation. And then the Chicago hot dog is one that I always get. Have you ever seen a Chicago hot dog? It's got everything on it. There's a pickle on it, there's tomatoes. There's like neon green relish or peppers on there, celery salt. Like it's like they dumped a whole garden on there. So that one
does have great food. Like I've been to Fan Expo 2 or 3 years in a row, done their podcast stage there, and like man, always have great food every time I go there.
Yeah, and then we go to Detroit. They're known for they've invented the Coney dog, so their Coney dogs are amazing, especially at 3 a.m. Most of their places, their good places are open 24/7. They're in gritty downtown Detroit. Looks like RoboCop down there. But I will risk all of that just for a couple Coney dogs for sure. But Missouri, St. Louis, we always stop at Ted Drew's frozen custard.
Okay.
That's a must. The ooey gooey butter cake there is amazing. So I pretty much wherever I go, I pinpointed something that I either have to get or sit down or take someone to for sure.
Heck yeah! So what's really funny is like one of my other favorite places to go to is Nashville.
Dude,
try to go to Nashville at least a couple of times a year, and it's something you would never expect. And I don't know what it is that they put in these, but man, there's something about like 1 o'clock in the morning after you get done leaving most of the bars. It's not everyone, but it's certain hot dog stands.
Oh yeah,
and man, I swear they infuse them with crack. Like it's some of the best hot dogs you've ever had. Like, I mean, giant beef hot dogs with the best toppings. Like, and every time I have people with me,
too. They're
street
vendors. Does not sound appetizing to me. I'm sorry.
Normally I get it. I normally it don't, but like every time I've took different people with me, I'm like, trust me, I'm not a hot dog guy. I'm like, no, try this, and they eat it, and they're like, oh my god, this is amazing. I'm like, I know. So if I ever like bought up any kind of like partnership with any business in Nashville, it would probably be a hot dog stand on the side of the road be the first thing.
Yeah, I think you do very well. Everyone goes there. It's like, oh, hot chicken. The hot chicken's great. They originated it, but the hot dogs. They've also got really great barbecue in Nashville.
They do,
and just good food. Just good food in Nashville
for sure.
So, no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna let you. I was gonna say, what you got next on your list?
I was thinking, we kind of talked a little bit about fandoms, right? We talked about like superheroes and Star Wars and comics and kind of things like that. But what if you got the opportunity to be in any type of like universe, like a Marvel, a DC, a Star Wars, a Star Trek, a Lord of the Rings? Like, where would you want to put your talents into first?
Definitely be Star Wars. For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to swing on a lightsaber. For sure.
Heck yeah.
Would you make the sounds?
I mean, I would. I wouldn't have to though if I had a real lightsaber. Yeah. So, and it could be a Sith red, or Jedi blue or green, or purple or yellow, as the case might be these days. I think the weaponry, and then the vehicles, the starships, either they all float or they fly really fast. I think everything about the Star Wars vehicles are vastly superior to any other universe. But I think it boils down to the laser swords. I think everybody wants a lightsaber,
Dude,
and
for
we're
real.
getting close. The Star Wars Black Series ones are pretty close. They can't cut through anything, but the LED lights and the sound effects match the ones in the movie. So we're getting there. We're getting there. But
have you ever been to Galaxy's Edge?
I have. I got to go there once about a year and a half ago, and
Okay, nice.
my mind was blown. Went to the one in Orlando.
Okay.
And, yeah, right away. You're immersed. That's the closest thing we're gonna get to going to Star Wars. So yeah, walking past that archway, those gates right in, was pretty amazing. Got to go to the canteen, Olga's Cantina. Didn't have to wait that long. Luckily, I went to the lightsaber store. I bought a Darth Maul lightsaber. Ate all the food, and got the Ronto wrap. Like, got all that. Bought the thermal detonator Coke. Like, yeah, it was rode pretty much all the rides. It was pretty amazing. I can't wait to go back.
I went to the one in California about a year. She was like a year and 2 months ago. And like you said, like, I'm not gonna lie. So I heard so many people brag about it and talk about it. And Marvel's my number one, Star Wars is my number two. Like, that's my two go-tos.
Yeah.
And you literally feel like you're on another planet when you're in that area. And like, I actually did the lightsaber build, and man, it was epic. It's something like the way they go about it. I mean, the people, they have you in this room, you pick out your kyber crystals. It's very cinematic the way they walk you through it, and like it's real. And
I heard it's like almost religious, and then you get everyone puts on their lightsaber at the end, and like I heard a grown man being brought to tears. Like, I think that's pretty cool. I just wait. I was like, I'm just gonna buy one right now, but one day I do want to do that for sure.
It's so worth it, I promise you. Like, it's. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I have a TikTok actually I made where, like, there's parts of it, but I mean, it's very ceremonial type. Like, it's wild. Like, it's so worth it. And I tell you what, the Millennium Falcon, that one was really fun. And like, whoever thought you would feel like you're truly flying the Millennium Falcon?
It's literally there. It's like you are going to Docking Bay 94. It's right there. It's life size. Like, all the battle damage is it's so amazing, man.
And then I can't remember, but and as epic as that was, the Millennium Falcon, there's one more big ride. I mean, it's one like you walk through, then you're sitting in, and they kind of drive you around the carts. You see Kylo Ren and stuff.
Yeah,
that is insane. Like, it feels so real, like you're in space. Kylo Ren, I mean, with the air gushing when the hull gets breached, blown in the side of the ship.
Yep.
Oh my god. Like, if anybody's never been, this is somewhere you have to go at least once in your life.
Yeah, which is crazy. And then this is kind of like version 1. I think they may have changed some of this stuff, but this is version 1 of Galaxy's Edge. Like, who knows where it can go from here? Totally worth the many dollars we're throwing at Disney.
Definitely. Take my money, please.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh man. Let's see. I guess last thing I got on my list is, if Ming Chen himself could pick one superpower in real life, what would that be?
This one's easy. Everyone wants to be invisible or have super strength. I just want to teleport. And the reason I give you that one was I travel so much.
Yes.
I'm sure both of you have been through an airport. It's a pain in the ass. You gotta get there early. You gotta go through security. Something always happens. And especially right now, flights are always getting delayed. Weather, mechanical, miscellaneous. It's a pain in the ass to travel now. And if I could just jump to wherever I need to go, literally, like, all of us, like, hey, let's teleport to Galaxy's Edge. Let's go hang out there for the afternoon. We could. So that, or I just want to go down the street and get a taco. Like, oh, I don't have to walk. Great. Boom. I'll just.
There's so much more things you could fit into your life you could enjoy instead of taking out the travel time.
Yeah, for sure. That one, bar none, would probably be my top one. I couldn't do that. I guess flying would get me there. Although even then,
would be immediate.
Right. Exactly. You still got to get there depending what your capabilities are, for sure. Yeah. Because everyone's like, don't you want to read minds? Like, I don't think so. I think that'd be pretty.
It'd be too noisy.
It's not a good one. Invisibility also, use probably, you're going to use that for evil for sure. So I'd be too tempted to, I mean, there are no boundaries then, but you're definitely using that one for evil. At least the teleportation is like, big deal. I want to go to Aruba for the afternoon.
For sure.
Right.
That would be one of my top for sure.
Or I just want to teleport myself into the Super Bowl, the Stanley Cup Finals. Boom, done.
God, yeah.
Easy.
Damn.
Yeah.
That would be wild.
Yeah.
I always thought about flying, but like when you just described it, like of teleporting, I'm like, oh my god, that would be immediate. I don't even have the travel time. I would want that. Why would I?
You can literally go wherever you wanted for an afternoon and then come back and not have to worry about
passport, screw all that.
Yeah, sometimes traveling to places you got to switch planes, right? Because it take a whole day. That's a waste of time. So, yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, let's all teleport everywhere. Well, not all. A select few.
Yeah. At least that's
it can't be all of us.
Yeah.
Because if everybody could, then it wouldn't be as cool.
No, not at all.
No.
But even if it was shorter distances, like a Star Trek transporter, I think even that would work out.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So the last thing that I have to ask you is another deep dive on your Instagram that I did. And I found this photo and I wanted to know, do you still do yoga?
I do. I used to go like a lot. But now I don't just commitments got in the way. I try to go once a week, but even that's a stretch sometimes with my schedule. Yeah, and sometimes it's hard finding a studio when you're traveling. I used to try to go and find a cool studio wherever I travel. It's getting harder now, though. I think a lot of them are going out of business. I think the pandemic killed a lot of them. Yeah. But still one of my favorite things to do. So I mean, it keeps me somewhat in shape, and they say a lot of your health is based on your flexibility. So I just go because it's fun. It's a lot of fun, for sure. And there are different iterations of it. I like variety, so I like meeting different instructors. And typically the people who go are pretty cool. So you meet some pretty cool people there. I think I went to one in Michigan. They're like, oh, you like exploring. There's a new speakeasy that just opened up down the street, and they gave me the secret code. And it was cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah. Or yogis tend to know where all the good food is at too. Good food and good coffee. So definitely good company.
Have you ever been in the middle of a con and just like struck like a warrior stance or?
I've been known to rock a couple headstands every so often. Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah. It's been a while, but if prompted, sure, I'll rock a headstand somewhere in the middle of a con floor. It's been known to happen.
If you had to guess about an average, how many cons do you think you attend a year?
A year? I mean, this year I'll be going to pretty much about 30 this year. So, even now we're into almost October. So I got 7 more. I think I had 7 more, and we're almost in the end of the year. But I'm probably averaging around 25 or so. So that's pretty half the year.
Yeah,
it's not a bad run. Not a bad run.
No, that's a pretty damn good run.
Yeah.
I guess that wraps up our question and stuff. You have anything you want to promote here that you get going on?
I mean, I right now I'm in a podcast studio called the Shared Universe. It's what it's pretty much, besides conventions, is what's taking up all my time. So I've built several studios here in New Jersey. I rent them out by the hour to podcasters. So whether you're new or you have one, if you want to do what we're doing right now, I can help you out. And you can see how much fun we're having. So if you want to start a podcast, pop culture or whatever, I can help you out. So shareduniverse.com. It's in my title down there. Hit me up. You don't have to be in New Jersey. I can help you.
There, now you can see it at the bottom.
I can help you with anywhere. Yeah, with the world now, we can do everything remotely, which is cool. So you and your co-hosts and guests don't even need to be in the same room. So with that in mind, there are no boundaries. Start your podcast, everyone. Or if you have one, I can show you to be even better.
Podcasts are the world, man. I love them.
Great, right?
I find myself watching more podcasts on YouTube than I do any streaming platform.
Yeah, for sure. And I definitely listen to them on my many travels, road trips. Podcasts are the best for sure.
Also, new 430 movie just came out. You're in too, right?
Yeah, that was cool. The last 3 movies Kevin has made, he's thrown me in there in some capacity. So
I haven't made it to see that one yet, but it's on my list.
Yeah. If you don't make it to a theater, and it's a limited theater release, so you may have to travel. Should be streaming in 2 or 3 weeks, so definitely check that out. One of my favorite Kevin Smith movies for sure.
Heck yeah.
It sounds like a blast.
It has a stat cast in it too, from what I see.
Oh yeah, for sure. One thing about Kevin, he makes a movie, he calls all his friends, so it's pretty cool.
All right. That's all I think we got this week. So
Nice. That was great, guys.
yeah, dude,
Thank you
you
so
so
much
much
for
for coming on.
being on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anytime.
Yeah. And yeah, when you get here to Cape, holler at me, man. We'll try to link up.
I will. Yeah, in October. Yeah, in a month. I guess I'll be there in a month.
Here
So
about a month.
yeah. So if you're coming to Cape, definitely come say hello.
All right, sounds good. Thank you all for joining us on this special episode of Fundamentals with Ming Chen.
Peace.